Later that morning. Ha ha ha! You have such an imagination. Sir! It was nothing but a dream, my dear. It is not my imagination or a dream. The thing was real. My bridal veil was torn when I arose. I'll explain. It was half dream, half reality. A woman did enter your room, no doubt, and that woman must have been, Grace Poole. In a state between sleeping and waking, you ascribed to her a goblin appearance different from her own. It was she who tore your veil. Why do you keep such a woman in your house? When we have been married a year and a day, I will tell you. Are you satisfied? I reflected, and in truth his account of the night's events appeared to be the only possible explanation. Very well. Satisfied I was not, but to please him I endeavoured to appear so. You must share a bed with Adele tonight. You are nervous, and I would rather you did not sleep alone. I shall be glad to do so, sir. Lingerer! My brain is on fire with impatience, and you tarry! It's done. Oh. Stop. Look at yourself in the mirror. You have not taken one peep. Is it done yet? How unlike my usual self this is. I seem like a stranger. Sweet Jane! You are fair as a lily, the pride of my life and the desire of my eyes. If anyone knows of an impediment why ye two may not be lawfully joined together in matrimony, confess it now. For if any such obstacle exists, you will not be joined by God, nor will your marriage be legal. The marriage cannot go on. I declare an impediment. Proceed, priest. Mr. Rochester already has a wife. Who are you that gives me a wife? My name's Briggs, a solicitor from London. I have a sworn statement proving your wife's existence. On October 20th, 15 years ago, Edward Fairfax Rochester of Thornfield was married to my sister, Bertha Antoinetta Mason of Spanish Town, Jamaica. I have a copy of their marriage record, signed Richard Mason. That, if a genuine document, may prove I have been married, but it does not prove that the woman is still living. I am her brother, Richard. I can prove she was living 3 months ago. She is now living at Thornfield Hall. I saw her there last April. Impossible. I am an old resident in this neighbourhood, and I have never heard of a Mrs. Rochester at Thornfield. No. By God. I took care that none should hear of it, or of her under that name. Enough. There will be no wedding today. Bigamy is an ugly word. I meant, however, to be a bigamist, but Providence has stopped me. This girl knew nothing of it. She never dreamt of my disgusting secret. Let us go see that monster now. Here they come. Away with your congratulations. You know this place, Mason. She bit and stabbed you here. Sir, why are you here? How is she today, Mrs. Poole? Rather snappish, but not rageous. Take care, sir. She sees you. This is my wife. Such is the sole embrace I am ever to know. And this is the wife I wished to have. Compare and judge me, if you can. Go, go. I must shut up my prize. You, Miss Eyre, are cleared from all blame. Your uncle will be glad to hear it when Mr. Mason returns to Madeira. My uncle? You know of him? Mr. Mason does, for Mr. Eyre works with his company. Mr. Eyre mentioned your impending marriage to Mr. Mason, who revealed the real state of affairs. Your uncle could not come himself, due to illness, so he sent Mr. Mason to prevent the false marriage. You should remain in England until we hear more of your uncle's health. Where was the Jane Eyre of yesterday? Where was her life, her prospects? Jane Eyre, who had been an ardent, expectant woman, almost a bride, was a cold, solitary girl again. I have to leave here. I cannot remain in his presence. I longed to be dead, but for the thought of God, that bitter hour cannot be described. You come out at last. I have been waiting for you long. 5 minutes more of that death-like hush, and I should have broken in. So you shun me? I would rather you come and upbraid me with vehemence. Jane, I never meant to wound you. I am a scoundrel, and regret my error so much. Will you ever forgive me? Tell me roundly and sharply, don't spare me. I cannot. I am tired and sick. I want some water. Slowly. What, you avoid me? You won't kiss the husband of Bertha Mason? Yes. You regard me as a low rake who has been simulating disinterested love to draw you into a snare, to strip you of honour and self-respect. You intend to live here only as Adele's governess, to treat me as a complete stranger? I cannot bear it. Adele must have a new governess, sir. Oh, Adele will go to school. I have that settled already. You shall not stay here, and nor shall I. I was wrong to ever bring you to Thornfield. I possess an old house, Ferndean Manor, where we can go. I shall shut up Thornfield and give Mrs. Poole 200 a year to live here with my wife. You speak of her with hate. It is cruel. She cannot help being mad. You misjudge me. If you were mad, I should not hate you, but care for you tenderly. Endure one more night under this roof, then farewell to its miseries and terrors forever. You shall live in my villa in France, and you shall be the real Mrs. Rochester. Sir, your wife is living still. If I lived with you as you desire, then I should be your mistress. I am not a gentle-tempered man. Don't forget that. Beware. I am a fool. I have not explained the story of my infernal union. You know I am not the eldest son of my house, don't you? Yes. Did you ever hear that my father was an avaricious, grasping man? My father could not bear the idea of dividing his estate, yet he also could not bear for his son to be a poor man. Thus, I must marry wealth. He learned that Mr. Mason of Jamaica would settle £30,000 on his daughter, and so I was sent there after college. I was told only that Miss Mason was a renowned beauty, in the style of Blanche Ingram, tall, dark, and majestic. I was dazzled. All seemed to admire her and envy me. We were married almost before I knew where I was. The honeymoon over, I learned my mistake. The bride's mother was mad, not dead as I had supposed. Her younger brother was a mute idiot. Worse, my wife's nature was entirely alien to mine. Her mind common and low, her temper violent. Her vices worsened. She grew intemperate and unchaste. 4 years after our marriage, both my father and my elder brother passed away. I was rich enough now, yet poor, for the most depraved nature I ever saw was considered part of me, and I could not rid myself of her. The doctors discovered she was mad. I approached the verge of despair. Then hope came to me. I would return to England and isolate my wife at Thornfield. My father had not made my marriage known, due to shame. No one need discover her existence. I could be free. I conveyed her to England and hired Grace Poole to watch her well. She is cunning and malignant. Twice she managed to steal the key to her cell. First, she attempted to burn me in my bed. Secondly, she spent her fury on your bridal veil. What did you do when you had settled her here? Where did you go? I wandered, wild as the March spirit. My fixed desire was to seek and find a good, intelligent woman who I could love. But you could not marry. I was convinced that I could and ought. It was not my intention to deceive you. I meant to make my proposal openly. I sought my ideal among English ladies, French countesses, Italian signoras, and German Graffinnen. When that failed, I tried the companionship of mistresses. I see by your face that you think me an unfeeling, loose-principled rake, don't you? Did it not seem wrong to you to live in that way? I thought it normal, but I did not like it. Hiring a mistress is the next worst thing to buying a slave. To live with inferiors is degrading. I now hate the recollection of those times. I feel the truth of those words, but if I were to forget myself and become the successor to those poor girls, he will one day regard me with the same feeling. Regardless of the temptation or justification, I must remember this truth. Jane, you disapprove of me still, I see, but I can never be that man again, not now that I have met you. You are unique, and yet there is a sympathy between us. I treated you distantly, hoping you would seek me out, but you did not. I was going to play the master and be stern, but I had become too fond of you to play the master and be stern. Don't talk any more of those days, sir. Of course, why dwell on the past when the future is brighter? You see now how the case stands, do you not? You are my sympathy, my better self, my good angel. I give you my pledge of love and fidelity. Give me yours, Jane. Give it to me now. I will not be yours. Jane, do you mean to go one way in the world and let me go another? I do. Oh, Jane, this is bitter. Is it wicked to love me? It would be wicked to obey you. Think about my horrible life once you are gone. All happiness will be torn away. We were born to strive and endure, you as well as I. Never was anything at once so frail and so indomitable. It is your spirit I want, not your brittle frame. Come to me. I am going, sir. You are leaving me? Yes. My deep love, my wild woe, are all nothing to you? God keep you from harm and wrong, and reward you well for your kindnesses to me. Little Jane's love would have been my best reward. Without it, my heart is broken. Farewell. Alone that night, I heard my mother's voice, whispering from a great distance, "Flee temptation." I packed my small belongings. I left the pearl necklace which she gave me, for it was not mine. Such gifts belonged to the visionary bride, who is no more. There was a heaven waiting for me in Thornfield, if I chose. I had only to enter his room and say that I would love him and live with him always. In the morning he would send for me in vain. I would be gone. How he would despair. No. I can never return.